Okay, so technically we are streaming. Does Twitch count it as streaming right now? Currently offline. Well, that's just great then. Okay, so reload it. What is this? Twitch machine got unplugged. Twitch, I want to stream now. I don't want to stream in an hour. What the fuck are you doing? Twitch servers are shitting the bed right now with a unplugged error. Errors. Apologies for the inconvenience. I got no idea if you guys can actually see this right now. Oh, are we actually live? Thank you, Twitch. Okay, so music is off. I'm gonna shut up for a second. Oh, are we actually live? Thank you, Twitch. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are back. Alright, it fixed itself. Now let's get back to streaming. I guess we'll just redo the introduction. I mean, we got 2 people here right now, so we might as well wait for a few more people to get in. While we wait, I'm gonna show you guys something special. This isn't gonna be downtime. I'm gonna show you the Supremacy that we've been working on. Well, I've been working on for a bit now. This is Supremacy. It's not meant to be used in Empire at War, since it's just slightly too high poly. It's also still in layers right now. It's kind of like a cake, you have to build it in layers. The Supremacy, of course, being the first order flagship. It's not done. I have the angles all worked out. I can just... Actually, if we're waiting anyway, I might as well show you guys the whole thing angled and all that. So what we're going to do real quick is we're going to switch the angles around, which, if I recall correctly, if my numpad works... Ooh. Right, it is that. I'm going to copy that. And I think the angle was either 7 or 7.5. Hang on. I did save this. I came prepared. Supremacy angle. 7.5. Oh, right. It was actually increased. It's right. So it was minus 5.3. Alright, that is the move gizmo. Okay. 7.5 forward. Alright. It's probably better to do this from the very top instead of from the bottom, since the top is of course a lot smaller. You're not going to get all this overlap right away. So, get with the move. Let's see. It's generally useful to work with layers like this, and to also keep your layers in separate objects. That's simply easier to edit them. But if you actually want to angle the ship the way it is supposed to be, of course, then you do have to go through every object and do it for every single one individually, which can be a bit of a pain, but at the same time, it makes it so much easier to edit that it's just worth it completely. Again, while we wait for a couple of people to come into the stream, we are going to have a look at this. And then once everyone gets in here, then we will go back to the Viscount. I did do an intro a little bit ago, but Twitch apparently didn't record that, so that was lost to the ether, sadly. But that was actually a good thing, because before this, Twitch started recording or streaming at a point where it wasn't actually meant to be streaming. So Now it should all be aligned already. Yes, good, good. So now we're going to simply select this whole thing, and then we isolate it. Isolate section, and ladies and gentlemen, here we have the Supremacy. It's very detailed. It is built out of several of these base armor plate templates, so to say, and basically every tranche is built out of a variation of that. For example, the forward area here has some additional angles to it, but it's basically the same template, only with a little bit of dome. Okay, so it's not actually correctly aligned. That's okay. Let's see, where is the gizmo? Okay, so move it up and down. Got that. And this, yeah, that is alright. Okay. The rest is aligned. Alright, so here we have the Supremacy that I've been working on for a while. Turns out it's a large ship, takes a while to build. Again, this is not actually meant to go into the remake mod. Ooh. Cheeky. Cheeky, cheeky. I'm not even sure what it's doing right now. Okay, select you. Yes, go up and down. Thank you all. Up in there. Good. That is aligned, and the rest should really be aligned. Then again, I also thought that of the previous ones, and it wasn't that, so maybe it is now. But it looks to be in order. Okay. It's actually quite flat if you look at it. It's not all that high. It is, though, very, very wide, obviously. It's got a couple of very surprising angles. Mainly the side view is very interesting because it's actually very steep. Like, you would expect it to be fairly flat. And I do indeed have Warpnull's base model in here somewhere, but we isolated it, so we won't waste time looking at that right now. Here we have the bridge. That is basically the Eclipse bridge, only repurposed for the Supremacy. Since, of course, it was based on the... Why does this whole thing not align properly? That's weird. It really should. You know what? Let's just not spend any time on this. Might have been nice to show you guys, like, this is what I've got so far. But if there's a whole bunch of aligning stuff that has to happen, then I guess we'll just skip all that. Anyway, I'm working on one. It's probably not going to be an Empire War. I'll probably try to rig it just for funsies, but it probably won't be an Empire War. Let's be honest. Let's go back to the Viscount. Let's see, do we have a couple more people here? Hello guys, welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. As usual, I'm going to promise to watch the watch chat a little bit better than I did the last time, but I say that every time and I forget it every time. So I'll promise, but take it with a grain of salt. So I guess I'll repeat the intro that I did before the stream shit the bed, before Twitch's servers shit the bed. It does seem like they have been getting progressively worse, and Twitch is slowly like going down the drain. It's like ever since Amazon actually bought Twitch, it seems like they pulled the plug, and now the bath water, the quality of Twitch is very slowly draining. And they really should upgrade the servers, but they don't. But that's okay. So I'll redo the intro, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Viscount. This is not what you remember seeing last time. I do still have the very fancy shape somewhere. It's hidden right now. Can unhide it. We're not going to do that. I rebuilt the shape to be a little bit more in line with what people expect the Viscount to look like. It's still a little original, mostly because there are a couple of differences between this and the original image of the Viscount itself. It's a little sharper around the edges, which I like. Gives it a little bit more authenticity, I think. There's actually quite a bit of work that went into this whole thing and getting this whole thing to shape up as well as it did, but it looks quite good. Now the issue with this thing is mostly that the templates that I used to populate the ship, which the templates are all over here, they're a little bit too high poly. So what we're going to be doing this stream is we're going to rebuild the templates, and then we are going to put that over on the ship again. So what we're going to do is we're going to isolate all these objects. Let's do that using the object select. We're going to detach it, and then we are going to simply edit these. If I had been smart, I would have taken all this and simply made it an instance of the existing template so that when I edit the templates, it would automatically change it on the model. But I didn't do that. So I would have required a little bit more foresight. But to be honest, I also didn't expect to be rebuilding this whole thing. So the polygon counter, as you can see, all this, all these things together are already almost 30k triangles. That's simply too much. Why does it not select when I click? Okay. Right, 30k triangles. That's simply not acceptable because this, maybe if this was, why does it not show this? This is so weird. See, when I do this and then I move it around and then this, yeah, that's the selection box disappears. That's annoying. Not sure why it does that. Doesn't really matter anyway. But basically, once we have the whole ship covered in blisters, and there's going to be more added to this, of course. There's going to be engines, other things. Well, mostly the engines, that's the problem. Since those are going to be quite high poly, of course, since they do have to actually look round enough for the smoothing groups to give it the illusion that they are indeed round and not simply vertexed cylinders. Is that the polygon is going to rise so high that this, including shadow mesh, is simply going to... the size of the model is going to go out the wazoo. Now, the size of the model, once it's exported, is important because, of course, the more file size that the game has to load, the worse it is. For example, the Executor right now is the worst offender, sitting at like 150 megabytes or something. The game doesn't have that much memory to play around with, and loading these gargantuan files into memory is not only causes a little bit of stuttering. Once you first load the model, that's not actually that bad, because after that the game will just run. But the biggest problem is when the game actually runs out of memory. Once it's all filled, then it will stop loading things like textures, new models, and not loading a texture is not that bad, because you simply get a white skin on whatever texture it failed to load. But not loading models is a problem, because if you try to hyperspace in a ship that doesn't have a model, or well, it does have a model, but the game doesn't load it, and the game tries to attach things like hardpoints to an object that doesn't exist, and then it will crash. And that, of course, is completely unacceptable. So that's why we're going to be building that, rebuilding the templates today. But first I'm going to check chat real quick. Is planned release minor stuff as Reapers? The Reapers was actually just me fucking around and trying to see if I could make a semi-organic shape work in the game. It somewhat worked, not very well, but somewhat. It's also not my model and texture, so I can't actually release it. So sorry, but they're not mine to give out. So. Look forward to the next dev build. Missed the last one. Well, it's coming up on the 5th, hopefully. Sometimes they're a little later because there are like issues that I have to fix or something. And finally, a bigger ship of the Rebellion. Yeah, the Minotaur 2. I guess we should just make that buildable. For now, just because we don't really have the story events yet for the rebels to actually acquire that thing, so we should probably make it available some other way until we have the story events implemented. Carbonated water, absolutely. Alright, so well, let's get to it then. How exactly are we going to optimize all this stuff? Let's see. First of all, I want to copy so that we can compare the final poly count. It's sitting at a nice round number of 16,500 triangles right now. We're going to try to get it down to 8 at least, but that's going to require quite a bit of stuff. It's actually going to require quite a bit of stuff. I'm not sure if that's realistic. Since remember, once you, for example, hover the camera over a fighter flying across the ship, can I actually sit like this or still this one? Yeah. We should try it out. It's a little cold outside here in the Netherlands, so forgive me for being a little packed in here. I've got a little miniature heater on here. You might still hear the buzzing of that, but honestly, I'm not going to do it without that little heater because it's absolutely necessary. This place is fairly well isolated, but what do you call that? The Dutch word is tocht. You know, once air flows around the room and through the cracks in the walls, that sort of stuff. That does happen here a little bit, so I do need the heater. So apologies for the buzz. That's just gonna be there. Okay. I do like the templates that we have. Yeah, the only issue really is that they're simply a little bit too poly intensive. And we have to reduce that. Now, I don't think we can really reduce it by, for example, removing one of these. Well, let's go over here real quick. One example of how we could optimize it is, for example, if we go here and then we remove all these edges, for example, if you keep an eye out on the try count. For example, we remove that and then we remove the vertices. That does remove it slightly, but as you can see, it also kind of reduces the illusion that this whole thing is actually round, since, well, as you can see, this does look slightly worse than that. A lot more pointy. What do you guys think? Is that acceptable? I myself don't really think so. You know what? Let's try to remove it across the board, and then let's see how much of an effect that has on the Polygon itself. Right. The issue that we have multiple things selected. Just for testing, it doesn't really matter. We should probably isolate this specifically and then test it. Okay, so the whole thing is currently sitting at 11,000. Honestly, that's already enough for a small starship. Right, we should do it without... Okay, good. And now we isolate it again. And now we have an accurate count of the before and after. Okay. 11,200. That's what we're sitting at right now. It doesn't actually take effect until we also remove the vertices, since the vertices are going to actually going to be making the triangles. Oh shit, I don't know. Now, again, this is just a test. Well, that was not very significant, of course. Okay. So we are going to have to make a more fundamental change, like to all these small blisters as well. Just the larger one. Obviously, that was to be expected, but somewhere in the back of my mind I was hoping, maybe that would do something. No. So what we're going to have to do is maintain the general shape of the blisters. They obviously still have to look roundish, but we're gonna have to do it in such a way that it is, well, simply more poly effective. So we're gonna try to remove a couple of the edges in strategic places so that we don't destroy the general shape of the whole thing, but still save a bunch of polygons. Let's see, percentage-wise, what can we get out of removing 2 of those faces? 112. That's fairly significant. I'm an idiot. Really? Well, I mean, okay. That would make it acceptable. Is that much worse, though? This blister compared to... Where's that? Go back here. Okay. So now we're basically comparing that to that. I mean, from a distance, it's very clear that this one is just better than that one. Up close, it's actually pretty bad, because you can now clearly see the kind of rough edges, but I'm afraid that it simply has to happen. Unless, of course, we want to rebuild the entire blister from a cylinder with fewer sides. That's actually... We could do that, but we would not only have to re-UV the entire blister, but which is basically, I already set this up to be textured. If we go to the unwrap UVW real quick. Where's my UV? Oh, right, okay, it simply wasn't sized down. It's already ready to be textured, but we do have to re-UV it if we have to actually alter the amount of sides on the cylinder itself. And that basically means that, for example, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sides, and then of course the bottom. If we were to reduce it to say 7, that would save us a lot of polys. But at the same time, of course, it would start looking more jagged, right? And right now, from the front, it still has a pretty good illusion of being round. I mean, from the top, it's I don't like these jagged edges, but honestly, I don't think we can do it without them. Because as it said, it was like a what, 47% decrease in polys, or that one. This one has 47% more polys than that one. So I think that jagged edges, we're just gonna have to live with it. Okay. Again, that's unfortunate, but honestly. So let's attach it back to the whole thing. Okay, well, let's get to work. Welcome, welcome, hello. Oh, I meant to say hello, hello, welcome to the stream. It's been a long day. That's okay. I'm gonna try to make some good progress here. Yeah, how are we? Oh yeah, I mean, these blisters are actually quite... I think... Are they the same? It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. This. Do they have one? Yeah. These do have more sides in general than that. Not sure why that took me so long to figure out. We may be able to remove not 1 but 2 sides on this. For example, that one and that one. Now that will make a significant difference, because that's going to make it look significantly worse. But again, we're going to try it. Let's actually leave those and just hit these for now. So that if we still want the other ones gone, we can do that afterwards. So how's everybody doing in Streamland? Hope you're all having a good day. Alright, these are the bridge thingies. Not actually bridges, but just towers. Every time I center it to the top view, then it snaps back to the actual ship, which is actually quite annoying. So what we're going to do is we're going to select all this and move it. We can always move it back into position later. But now at least we center on this. Can't wait to go home and play the game again. Yeah, if you're talking about Empire at War, definitely. It's a pretty good game. Did you guys hear about the Command & Conquer remaster, by the way? EA is doing a remaster of the original Tiberium Dawn and Red Alert, including expansion packs. It's actually quite impressive. I hope they don't mess it up, of course. EA is known to do some fairly heinous anti-consumer things, but you'd almost think that they can't go wrong with a remaster of those classics. So, but then again, EA has proven to be able to screw up things even though they shouldn't be possible to screw up. So I am skeptically optimistic. I know that sounds like a contradiction, but I'm skeptically optimistic. Now, I should probably rephrase that, or explain what I mean with that. What I mean with that is I think that if EA was ever going to do something right, then they've got the highest chance of doing this right. A remaster of these classics from the age before things like microtransactions and all that bullshit. Day one DLC. I'm not sure why this is such a problem. What is this? Can we leave that? Nah, it's still gonna be quite a bad edge, even though it has smoothing groups. So how about we just try to smooth it out a little bit? I think it deselected it. My mouse lately has been having an issue where even though I click single, it actually double clicks, which is quite annoying. Even in general, when you're just browsing your PC and trying to get to files, that can be pretty bad, but of course it gets worse when you consider things like 3D modeling. So if it keeps doing this, I'll actually have to go and use that warranty on my mouse, which I'm not happy with, because I actually really like this mouse. Currently have a Corsair. I'm not sure what the serial number is. It's pretty good. It has the 12 buttons on the side that I love so much, because I map these to all sorts of different functions like copy, paste, rename, you name it. You can basically put anything on there. It's so useful. I know it's generally considered to be a quite useless feature, but I myself actually really enjoy it. Because of the added functionality that you can get out of it. We're not touching that just yet. Of course, your mod is so amazing. It is really like playing a whole new game. Well, thank you very much. Love the stream name. We're going to be adding Purgils. Purgils. What are Purgils? Space whales. No. We're definitely not going to be adding anything of the sort. Not a chat, sorry. See, I'm a huge Command & Conquer fan. I really hope that they make it up again. What they ruined. See, I'm afraid that ship has sailed, my friend. I don't think they can redo that. Nico, welcome, man. Nico. Petroglyph is making the games, so it's up in the air if it ends up being messed up in any way. Yeah, looking over the shoulder could cause issues, and Petroglyph has not made a decent game since Empire of the War, so it's up in the air if they will fuck it up somehow. Yeah. I'm not all that familiar with Petroglyph's work, honestly. Not as well as I should be, anyway. We should remake at least these blisters, because I'm not sure how many polys these things are. Yeah, that's too much. We should remake that. Is this already mapped? Hang on, so I should... Might already be mapped. It's already mapped. That's unfortunate. Can we salvage this situation without messing it up? Maybe. The problem is not, I think, the segments like this. I think the issue is the amount of sides it has. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We can easily change that back to 11. We can easily change that back to 11. Wow. That's a significant difference. Hell, we can even do that again here. From 300 down to 2, I mean, that is just... if that is not optimization, then I don't know what is. It does look a lot worse, though. Look at the difference. In-game, it probably won't be as noticeable, of course, but that's quite a... Ooh, it's a hard edge. Same here. I mean, this is just sad to see, honestly. Can we get away? I mean, yeah, we can get away with it, but do we want to sacrifice this? I mean, I don't like having to do it, but... Again, we could simply rebuild the entire blister in fewer sides, and then it'll, of course... Changing the size from like 10 down to 8 already reduces it by like 20%. And that's without removing the side ribs. Let's just call them ribs for now, or edges. Ribs or edges. And that's without removing the side edges / ribs. Removing them further, then that just makes it even better. That downs it from like 80 down to like 60, probably. Maybe even 50. Who knows? Basically, good things happen to good people the moment you start optimizing your game. But bad things happen to good models because, well, I mean, you can see clearly the difference here. It's not great. But we'll have to replace all of these as well with the new blisters. Again, I wish I had put them in instances so it would have automatically updated. That is simply not a thing. So if we're not going to be changing these, we can just detach them. Wow. So, it's a good thing we're not using these all over the ship, because that would have gone very wrong very quick. 3,500 triangles for just a couple of these? Woo! Okay, so the whole thing is 13,000. The slightly more optimized version is not that much. But of course, remember, most of the polygons are in these unoptimized blisters, so we're going to be changing that. Right. Add you back. Actually, we may as well detach them and then do our thing. Yeah, Petroglyph is doing the remakes of the Command & Conquer franchise. Welcome, all is a Phoenix. Was that a Skyrim soundtrack? Mate, you are still listening to the Skyrim soundtrack, because it is just, it is great. Though to be fair, we do listen to it quite a lot here on the stream. The few times that I do stream it is. But we have the World of Warcraft soundtrack coming up. We can put that on now, which is excellent as well, actually. Excellent as well. See there, I selected to click, and then I hit it, and then somehow my mouse registered a second click, which then deselected the whole thing. That's what I'm talking about with the double click thing. Is this a half-assed measure that we're going to have to revert later? If we're going to have to rebuild the blisters at a later time, it would be more useful to do it now, because then all this work would be for nothing if we're going to have to rebuild them later. But I think we can keep with this. I think so. This hurts me. All in the sake, all in the name of optimization. And we have been making some sacrifice in terms of optimization. Missile trails removed. God, what else? Texture resolution, just down the shitter. I've recently been putting back a few more of the higher quality textures, the high resolution ones from before the downgrade, because it just I couldn't stand looking at the low quality ones. Okay. And now we put in the new and optimized blisters in place of the older ones. Oh right, I forgot to do this one. Where do I start cutting in this shape? Probably here. Can I? Are these like higher? Yeah, slightly higher, but that's not a problem. I mean, yeah, that's actually quite acceptable. Never mind. Should be complaining about that one. That one, that's not as bad as some of the others. So that's still good. Okay, that should be acceptable. Okay, so went through that. These blisters are a little bit of a speciality, since they are a lot larger and thicker than the other ones. So we have to be careful with how we cut in these specifically. That one especially, since that's a hang. But I think we can get rid of that and that. Sorry, I shouldn't be saying that. If you guys want to enjoy the music, then I shouldn't be rambling on. Then again, you didn't come here to listen to excellent music. Though, to be fair, it is definitely a part of the stream. If you ask me. Now that looks significantly worse. Like, what the fuck, man? Look at that. That is not good at all. Fuck. If we were doing this the way that I'm building the Supremacy, I'd be like, hell nah. Fuck no. No, it still has that shitty edge. Can't we just bloody just go from there to there or something? How's that? It's a little bit better. That is just too bad. We cannot do that. We simply cannot. My mind is telling me yes, but the polygon is telling me no. What? No. The polygon is telling me yes, but my mind. Fuck that whole thing up. Never mind. We're not changing these. My mind is telling me no, but my body. My body is telling me yes. I know exactly how to change the blisters. So we don't actually need to do that at all. No, fuck that. We're not fucking bloody editing every single... No, we're not replacing all these blisters. Do you have any idea how much time it took me to reposition that shit, man? Absolutely not a chance. We're doing this manually, and this will be much faster. Much faster. We do have to kind of remember which one we edited in the teardrop shit. Teardrop shit. Right, so it was this one. Yes, I should take this out. I mean, I'd really love to keep the higher poly count, but honestly, I keep trying to talk myself out of this optimization because it's just so bad. But, like, it looks so much worse, but it's so necessary. Let's see, what else? So we have that, then there, and then there. And then we did edit a little bit of stuff, but we can just forget that on the teardrop shape things. Especially if we're going to have to copy that a bunch of times, so... it is that one which bit the bullet. That shouldn't increase the volume for you guys, but it will for me. If you guys did just get deafened by the increase in volume that I just did, then let me know in chat so that I know not to do that in the future. I don't think that editing my volume slider actually changes it for you guys, but if it does, then again, let me know. Keeping up with chat, as I promised I would do. It's amazing. It absolutely is. Love the Elder Scrolls soundtrack. Morrowind is great too. I love Morrowind soundtrack. So good. Missile trails are being removed. Well, most of them have already been removed, and it is just the very heavy conch missiles that still have trails. And of course the diamond boron missiles, because you need to see those coming. Those even have a light on the missile itself so you can see them coming. And those are slow as shit, so you can position your fighters out of the way. Wait, those aren't the actual ship, those are just the bulbs. Oh yeah, the ship's big. This is the Viscount, that's 15 kilometers, mate. Music is solid, 10 out of 10. Completely agree. Oh, right, and they're bringing Frank Klepacki. God damn it. They're bringing Frank Klepacki back as well for the soundtrack for the Command & Conquer remake. So that's honestly the best part of the whole remakes, if you ask me. Yeah, Petroglyph is made up of ex-Westwood devs and EA is having them make the game. Yeah, I mean, they did that with Tiberium Wars, where EA built Tiberium Wars out of it, but I mean, you could already see some of the EA things going through the cracks with Tiberium Wars, which was Command & Conquer 3, which I still liked. It was visually one of the most